Hello, what's up? Today we are sculpting again. We're continuing the robot sculpture that I started 2 videos ago. In the last video we made the head, which I've got right here. Here's a little refresher, or if you haven't seen it, maybe you haven't seen the other video, go watch the other one, then come back. But today we are making the body, or at least the torso. I'm very nervous to do the body for some reason. I don't know why it makes me a little nervous, but I am. But regardless of how it comes out, I'm gonna post it. We're gonna do it. I'm gonna finish it. And if it's not my best work, it's not my best work and I try again. So that's what we're doing today. I've got all my supplies laid out. Everything's ready to go. So I'm going to turn on the above camera. Actually, before I get into it, this video style is something I'm trying out and I'm really liking. But with that, I'm trying out new video styles for different platforms like TikTok, even though I don't really like TikTok. It would be stupid of me to not use it. So I'm trying to find a video style that I can upkeep. So I'm going to be filming some clips throughout this video with my phone, and I'm also going to be taking photos with my nice camera, because I want to start taking more photos of things that I do instead of just video for YouTube and TikTok. I want photographs of the stuff that I do. So if you see me use my phone, using the camera, just let it happen. It's part of the vibe. It's as if you were sitting here in my room with me. You would be watching me take the photos and do everything too. So yeah, let's get started, get into the sculpting. I'm gonna turn on the camera up here. 3, 2, 1, pressed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm hoping that'll be easy to sync up. I also need to find a better way to sync up these videos together, because I have this camera, and then my microphone recording the audio all separately. So I gotta sync it all up. Anyways, here's the armature. You may be looking at this armature for the body and be like, wow, that's so cool. Like, there's a skeleton for it. Like, you did such a good job. Like, that's so interesting to see. And if that is your response, that's how I know you are not a sculptor. Because, I mean this, that's not a diss. What I'm saying is, if you were a sculptor and you made sculptures the way that I do, and you use armature, you would be looking at this and be like, ugh, what the hell is that? Because this is a very bad armature. Very bad. I hate armature. I hate it. I hate making it. I don't have much control over it. I'm not that good at it. And I'm hoping I'll get better eventually. It's just so annoying to do. But you have to do it to keep your sculpture structurally sound and whatever. But yeah, this is supposed to insert into here. And I also have my reference photo up on the screen, which I will paste on top of here in the video for you to see right now. That is supposed to be this somehow. And looking at it right now, I think it'll still work. I don't know, we'll find out. But for right now, I'm going to focus on the torso, which is this section of the photo, his little chest piece, and then his arms is what we're going to focus on now. And if that goes smoothly, we will continue with the legs and assemble it all together. But here's the head again. It should be proportionate. I think it's proportionate enough. Once I attach everything and whatever, it should be good. So far so good. I have already rolled out my clay. This is not lunch meat. This is what clay looks like once you roll it out through a pasta roller. Yeah, let's get into it. I have my list of things to talk about. Can you tell that I'm nervous? Can you tell that I'm procrastinating this a little bit? I don't know why I'm so nervous for it. I think it's because... I don't know why, actually. I don't know what is making me nervous about this, but we're just gonna do it. Oh, I also have to remember that at the 30-minute mark, this camera, hello, is going to die, or it's going to turn off, and then I have to press play again, because it only has a 30-minute timer, which is stupid. So I should probably put on a timer on my phone. I'm going to do that, because I know I'm going to forget. So I'll do at 21 minutes, 22 minutes. 22 plus 7 is 29, so that'll be perfect. Okay, so we got 20 minutes. 20 minutes on the clock. I have put these little charms on my phone, which I usually would not do, but these each represent one of the characters. So we have a key for Lucille, because she owns an antique shop in the comics. We've got a moon for Asteroid, and then we've got a little robot for Otto. My little trio. Yeah, okay. Ooh. We're starting off this video with a great topic. Do I have a story for you? Yesterday was a very big day. Nothing crazy happened, just a lot of little tiny annoying, really stupid things. So yesterday I was like, okay, we gotta start getting up earlier. I've been waking up at like 10, 11, and I don't like to do that. I wish I could wake up at like 6 in the morning every day, 5 in the morning even, and just get to it. I am just not really that person yet. And so I woke up, I don't know what time I woke up. I think I woke up at like 9 or something, and I was like, okay, whatever. I get up, I'm like, I'm gonna make my coffee, make some breakfast. I made an egg bagel, which I will also talk about after I get through this first bit. My thoughts on eggs, because boy do I have some thoughts on eggs. Make my breakfast, make my coffee, everything's going well. I brew the coffee at home. Maybe that wasn't the correct term. I think it is, though. I put the coffee in the filter, pour the water in, blah blah blah, make it myself. I filled up my mug with too much coffee, so I was like, okay, I gotta dump a little bit of this out, because I gotta put milk in it. I am wearing a white sweater. Plain white. Nothing on it. No text. No imagery. Just plain white. I go over to the sink to dump out some of the coffee. And I'm talking like probably not even an ounce. Or, I don't know. The logistics of it don't matter. I go over to pour it out. And inside of the sink is a plastic Tupperware container that has a lid on it. I pour it right onto the lid, and it splashes all over the sink and the counter, and all over my white sweater. I will insert a photo for you to see. I've got the proof. I've got the receipts for this story time. Splashes all over my sweater. Great. Of course that would happen. Of course it would happen. Of course I would be wearing a white sweater. Why would I be wearing one of the black sweaters that I own? Why would I be wearing a navy blue sweater that I own? Of course it's the white one. Right? All over the thing, and I'm just like, ugh, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I can bleach it, and it's fine. It's not that deep. It's annoying, but I try not to let that little that I made really bother me. I'm trying to let that stuff affect me in my day. Move on. I wore the sweater still for like half the day because I was like, I'm just gonna brace it, you know? I'm not gonna be mad. It's okay. And had that have been the only incident with the coffee, I would have been fine. I would have gone on about my day like nothing happened, and eventually, when I get to doing laundry, I would bleach the sweater, and all would be good in the world. It's about 3 hours later. I am working on swapping. I have 3 hard drives, so I'm working on swapping things around and utilizing the space on those hard drives properly because I need more space for footage and photos and art files and whatever. So I am spending the entire day of yesterday working on these hard drives, which I will also discuss in a minute because that's also annoying. I have these hard drives all over my desk. I got my coffee, and I am unplugging cords, plugging cords back in, and you know what happens? I spill almost the entire cup of coffee all over my desk. You know what's sitting on my desk? My hard drives that I have been spending hours moving footage. Luckily, none of the coffee made it into the ports or into the cords of those hard drives. But I knock it over, it spills everywhere. I have one of my favorite notebooks on the desk as well. One of my sticky pads of like post-it notes completely drenched. Had to throw it away. Okay, whatever. Notebook. Thankfully, also didn't get a drop on it. The hard drives, however, did get wet. They were sitting there, and the coffee like surrounded it, but the ports were high up enough that it didn't do anything. But I grab them and I chuck them onto my bed to make sure that they're away. I just like super fast, as fast as it falls, I chuck them onto my bed. Now there's coffee all over my bed, so I have to take off the blanket and wash the blanket. Not only do I have to wash my blanket because of the coffee, I have to wash the sweater because of the coffee, and now I have to wash this towel because of the coffee because I don't have enough paper towels that will soak up all of the coffee. I clean up all the coffee. Everything's fine. Again, I got the receipts. You saw the photos. I was so pissed off. All for this cup of coffee that did absolutely nothing but make me anxious. And that was a sign from the universe to stop drinking coffee, because I've been wanting to stop drinking coffee for a while now, because almost every time I drink a coffee, it gives me weird anxiety. Like I'm super jittery, and I don't get that way with other caffeine. Like I can drink a yerba mate and I'm okay, usually, unless I just don't eat that much that day, or I don't know, every once in a while a yerba will get me, but almost, I would say 8 times out of 10, a coffee will give it to me. I'll get that feeling. So I went through all that trouble for nothing. So today or yesterday, I was like, okay, new rule, no open containers at the desk. None. I am going to keep everything sealed. Everything has to have a lid. I can't risk ruining a notebook or a hard drive or my iPad or my computer. I can't do that. So now everything's got to be locked away nice and tight. So today I made a coffee again, and it was fine. Nothing spilled. No messes. But I put it in this because I was like, it's got to be locked away. I have since drank the coffee, cleaned it out, and now there's water in it. But No more open containers. None. Speaking of drinks, I'll show you. I'm trying to move my chair, but it's like not moving. This is my drink that I have right now. Fever Tree Premium Ginger Ale. This stuff's really good. I don't know where my parents got it. I don't know who bought it. I don't know what store that comes from. I've never seen it in my life, but one day they were in the fridge and I drank one and it was really good. I haven't opened it yet, but I will in a minute. Anyways, there's the coffee incident. So, I think I'm done with coffee after today. And I'm just gonna have to go stock up on some yerbs or find energy sources elsewhere. I'm just over it, and I think that was the biggest sign. I am so glad that did not ruin my hard drives. I would have been so pissed off. Anyways, about the hard drives, the other thing that pissed me off yesterday was just a bunch of... I didn't film yesterday because of this reason, because I was really annoyed with everything. Nothing was working out smoothly. Everything had an issue to it. It was just one of those days where nothing's going your way. And usually I don't really mind it. I'm just like, ugh, whatever. But that coffee really threw me over the edge. But I've been working on moving my hard drives, the footage and stuff on the hard drives, because, okay, here's my hard drive history. Since everybody's dying to know what hard drives I have a hard drive that I've had since like 2015, 2016 when I started doing photography, and that has like every photo shoot that I've ever done. For context, I still consider myself a photographer. I don't do it for work anymore, but I used to do photography for my mom or family, friends, and then every once in a while I'd get some clients. I did a bunch of prom photos, graduation photos, stuff like that. A lot of portrait stuff, and I quickly realized I did not like doing that in that way. I needed it to be more creative. I think after the first 2 years or so, I was like, okay, I've kind of taken every photo I can possibly take at the same beach and at the same parks with the same themes and whatever. I got really tired of it and I stopped doing it. But that first hard drive has every photo shoot that I've ever done. Every photo. They're all on there. So I was looking through it. It was really cool to see all that stuff. But that hard drive I used on a Windows laptop back when I had a Windows laptop. And apparently hard drives have to be like configured to whatever system of computer you're using. So that one's configured to Windows. I can't access the stuff on that hard drive. Or I can access it, I can view it, but I can't add stuff. I can't move things around from folder to folder. It's kind of just like frozen in time as to what it was. And from my research, the only way to fix that is to reformat the hard drive, but I don't want to do that because I'm not 100% sure whether or not that means it deletes everything on the hard drive, because when I format an SD card on my camera, it deletes everything. So, I don't know. I ordered a new hard drive that it says it's going to be here today, but I don't think it is. But once that one gets here, then I'm going to move everything onto that one, reformat the old one so I can use it, and then take everything off the new one back onto that one, and then use the new one for the new stuff. But basically, that old hard drive has 2 terabytes of storage. There's an entire terabyte of storage that I have not used. So I want that terabyte. That's why I'm doing all this and transferring and whatever. I want that terabyte of storage. And then I have my second hard drive, which I bought in 2020 for my film class in college that I dropped out of, and then used for photography and YouTube videos and all that. And then I have my current one, which has all of my art files and all of the recent videos from the last year, 2 years or so. All of that is on there. But that one, I only had like 10 gigabytes left of storage. So I was like, okay, these videos I've been filming very frequently, so I'm gonna need to clear it up now. So I did all that. The second hard drive that I have is only 1 terabyte, so I'm trying to move everything from my current one, which is also 2 terabytes, move all that stuff to the second one that I bought, and then move the stuff that's on the second one to the first one, move it all back. And then I bought the new one because I didn't know that I could figure it out anyways. That's the whole gist of it. I'm just annoyed that I can't access it. So I went to Grace's house because she has a PC set up. Tell me why Windows operating system takes 5 times as long to transfer files. On my MacBook, my 2019 MacBook Pro, I can transfer 30 gigabytes of files in 3 minutes. On the Windows, 25 minutes for the same amount of stuff. But that was the only way that I could access that other one. So it was really frustrating. But I'm hoping when that new one gets here, my plan will work. Because I think I can take stuff off of that hard drive onto a new one. Like, I think I thought that I couldn't. And then I remember last night I tried to drag something out of it and I could do it. So I'm assuming it'll work. But we will see. Time will tell, and I will keep you updated. Trust and believe. Trust and believe I will let you know my hard drive drama in the next episode. I wrote in my notes, okay, I need to check off these 2 things because I talked about them. In my notes I put my beef with eggs. And I just want to talk about my thoughts on eggs because I have a very, what's the word? What is it when you have like a relationship? What is it? Back and forth relationship with eggs? I like them, but I also hate them. I like eggs if they are scrambled, hard-boiled. I sometimes like deviled eggs. It depends on the day. And then pretty much in every other scenario, I don't like eggs. I like a runny egg only on a bagel and only in an egg sandwich. Don't ever give me a sunny side egg. Sunny side up. Sunny side up? Sunny side. Don't ever give me the sunny egg, whatever it is. Do not give me the sunny egg flat on a plate with a fork. I will not touch that. That's disgusting. And if you eat a sunny side up, whatever it's called, is it sunny side up? If you eat a sunny side egg with a fork, just plain and simple, that's weird behavior. Very weird behavior. Something is up with you, and you need to be looked out for. Because why do you want to eat like that texture? That texture is just horrible. I think this is going to be the front. Or wait, I don't know. I think so. His arms are a little uneven. Oh well. But I like eggs. I like the idea of just like waking up and making an egg and then it is what it is, And I really do like eggs on bagels. But again, on a bagel, it has to be sunny side up. Or in an egg burrito, it can be, the egg burrito, it would be a scrambled egg. But, I don't know, I think eggs, in theory, are gross. And I also can only eat so many of them. Like, I can't eat more than, usually 1 egg. Sometimes 2, I can eat 2 eggs sometimes. But I also mean, like, I can't eat it every single day for breakfast, but I wish that I could, because I wish I could just have the routine of eating something every day, and then, like, I'm so envious of my dog. He gets to eat the same meal every day. He also doesn't have to worry about what he's gonna eat. Like, he's gonna eat. If there's one thing about my dog, it's that he's gonna eat. No, but just like dogs just get to eat the same meal, or like the same couple meals every day. I can do that, But I can't, because I can't decide what I would even eat. If I could eat something every day, because I don't like anything enough to eat it every day. And I guess that's why we eat different foods. But do you understand what I'm saying? I hate having to think of what to eat. I hate figuring out what to eat. I hate trying new foods. But all the foods that I do eat, I will get bored of if I eat it like more than 3 days in a row. So I've made a list in my journal of my safe foods, so that when I don't know what to eat, I can just refer to the list. And so far it's been beneficial. It's just the same things that I eat. Normally, I don't know why I felt the need to write it down, as if I don't know. But in case, I wrote it down because in case one day, if I like get a concussion or something, I will hopefully be able to remember things. That may seem extreme, but I'm dead serious. If I get concussed or something, or if I I don't know if you can get Alzheimer's, or what is it, amnesia, whatever it is. I don't know if you can get that when you're young. I don't know. But if that can happen, that's why I write these things down. I also know that's not how it works, but in the movies it does, so I'm going to pretend that that's how it works. I can just read my old journals and be like, this is who I am. This is me. But you never know when you're going to get concussed. I mean, you could get in a car accident. You could just trip down the stairs. You never know. Which makes me think of, oh my god, what if I went into a coma? Oh, I would be, I'm sorry if this is tone deaf. I don't think it is. I would be so pissed off if I got into a coma. What do you mean I'm gonna sit there for maybe months or years of my life and not get it back? That is so horrible. I would be so mad at myself. How dare I get into a coma? That would be so unfortunate. And if you have been in a coma, I'm very sorry. You know someone who's in a coma, I'm very sorry for them. And I hope they get out of it soon. Because that's really annoying. I would hate that. I would hate it. Okay, I'm gonna move on from here now. That's about as square as I'm gonna get it for the moment. I'll worry about making it more angular in a minute. My words are not coming out easy today, but you're just gonna have to bear with me. I think I'm also holding my breath a little bit because I've been, this is another one of those things that I don't want to say because oh my gosh, I have the Psycho theme from the movie Psycho as my ringtone because it wakes me up in a startle. I wake up in a cold sweat, but I forget about that happening. Okay, I have to turn this camera off and then turn it back on. So you're back to this for a second. What was I saying though? I was saying something about something. Period. I mean, yes, you were saying something about something, but what was I saying? Was I talking about, I think I said something about clay. I think I was talking about, oh my gosh, it's gonna drive me insane. What was I saying? Someone's watching this being like, you were talking about blah blah blah, screaming at the screen right now. It's blah blah blah, blah blah blah, this is what you were saying. What was I saying? Oh my gosh, it's gonna make me so mad because I can't think of it. What was I saying? I was talking about, okay, I'm gonna make this, I'll make it angular later because this is about as good as it's gonna get. Guys, it's gonna drive me insane. I might have to stop all of these clips to go figure out what it was that I was talking about. If I can't think of it in 30 seconds, I'm gonna have to stop and figure out what it was that I was saying. Oh my gosh. I don't remember what it was. I was literally just saying, I will I was doing this, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to focus on it being more angular later, like I'll do the details. I think I have to stop the footage and find out. It's going to drive me insane, and that I was out of breath. That's what it was. Oh. The amount of pressure that has just been relieved from my brain of being able to remember. I was talking about how there's this thing that I kind of want to tell you, but I don't want to tell you because I don't want to say it, and then you're going to notice it, and it might bother somebody. I think I'm just going to say it, though, because the last time I said this, I ended up not saying the thing, and I know somebody out there, nobody said anything, like no one commented it, but I know someone out there was like, well, now I want to know. So, I feel like in this video I'm holding my breath because I sit with my arms on the table because I'm sculpting. So this mic is like right in my mouth. And you can hear, I'm really sorry. This is probably going to turn someone off to the video and they're going to stop watching. And I apologize. But you can hear me breathing. Because I breathe, like I breathe out, or I breathe in, and you can hear my breathing. So this video I've been holding my breath because while I've been editing them, I'm not editing them. What I mean by that is just syncing up the audio. I can hear the breathing, and it bothers me. So I think this video I've been holding my breath, and that's also why the words are coming out a lot slower. Because I'm just breathing slowly. We gotta turn this camera back on anyways. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Here is what we're looking at right now. It's smooth enough for now. Again, we'll go back, or we'll go into smoothing it out even further in a minute, but let's just see. That should be good because his arms are going to go on his body next, and then it'll widen his torso. So that should be good. I'm going to put the arms on, and then I'll work on the details of this little middle part of his torso opens up. I've yet to decide if it opens up to hold belongings, if it's like hollow and you can put things in there, or if it just opens up and it's all like the intricate circuit boards and wires of him that run him. I don't know yet. That is for me to decide later. So for now, there's no canon information whether or not his insides are hollow and he can hold something in that little flap. But I will go ahead and do the flap and then his little buttons at the top and then the screws and everything once I get the hands and the arms attached. So I'm going to take this clay, roll out a few things of clay, and then attach them to his body. Ever since I made the comic strip of Asteroid finding the snail outside of his door and having a pet snail, I have been on the hunt for a snail. Snails are my favorite insect, bug. I don't really like bugs that much, but I do like snails. I like roly-polies. I like grasshoppers. I would never pick one up though, but I like them. I wish I liked moths. Don't really like them that much. I don't mind worms. Worms are pretty cool. I like slugs. That's about all the insects that I like. But I love snails. Snails are really cool. It's the whole reason why I picked him to have his first pet would be a snail. But ever since then, I have been trying to find a snail in my backyard. But there are no snails right now. Even though it's been raining off and on lately. Like it's been raining for like maybe an hour out of the day in the evening. I can find slugs day and night. So many slugs. Haven't found a snail yet. I know there are places that I could go to find a snail. I could go to the park and find snails there, but I want to find one just like at the front door of my house. That's the ideal. In my ideal scenario, I'm going to find it. Then I will just reenact that comic strip. Like literally, that's all I want to do. But I haven't found one yet. So this is day 3 of trying to find a snail. Have not found one. I also have not looked outside today for a snail yet, so I will do that once I finish this video, and I will tell you, I'll put a text update whether or not I have found said snail. And now I need to write that down so I make sure to give an update, because otherwise I'm not gonna edit. What was I saying? Snails. Haven't found one yet. Hoping I find one soon. Is that all I have to say about snails? I think so. I just want a snail really bad, and I think you should know. I don't actually like those really big snails. Those ones are really creepy. Not on my watch. I will not have one of those. Too much slime. They're too big. They are crazy looking, and I don't want one. Another thing I wish that I could like is snakes. I cannot get into snakes. I'm so sorry. I really wish that I could. I just can't do it. The other day, I was driving with Grace, and we were going to get our drinks, get a treat, and in the middle of the road, I was driving the car, and I was like, it was nighttime. I was like, oh my gosh, is that a snake in the road? And I was half of my brain was like, that's like a bungee cord or something in the road, just curled up like a snake or whatever, because there aren't many snakes where I live. Well, there are. I have never seen one out in the wild, but I know that they're around. Like, it's not uncommon for there to be snakes around. Oh, I gotta put some of this on it. But I didn't know for sure if it was a snake or not, but I said it. I was like, is that a snake? And it was. It ended up being a snake. We came back because we were driving on the same road, and it was, in fact, a snake. And it was a corn snake, I think. It was striped, and I'm pretty sure it was a corn snake. Again, it was nighttime. It was roadkill. It was dead. It was just sitting in the middle of the road, and I kind of instinctually felt bad, just because every time I see roadkill, I'm always like, oh, that sucks. God forbid I ever hit an animal of any kind. I will never drive again. I will not do it. I will not touch the steering wheel if I kill any type of animal, even if it was a snake. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I would feel bad enough for the snake. I just don't like them. I just don't. They're really gross to me. I don't like them. But I instantly felt bad, or like instinctually was like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. And then I thought about it, and then as we were driving over it, like the car going over the body of the snake, I was like, oh my gosh, imagine that snake wasn't dead and like crawled up through a hole in the floor of the car, and like I was on the floor of my car, and then I was instantly like, ugh, no, I do not feel bad. But I wanted to. I just don't like snakes. They're not for me. I want to, and I feel like there's something that I should like, because I do like kind of eerie stuff, but I don't think I can like snakes. So, if you're a snake watching this, I'm very sorry. I don't like you. And it's not really, well, no, it does have to do with you, actually, but it's more me, I think. I don't know. I don't like snakes. This arm is pretty long, so I think I'm going to cut it about right there. and I gotta trim down the wire. But I also thought that it's just crazy. I've never seen a snake roadkill before, but also I think there are a lot of snakes where I live. I just have never seen them out and about. Thank God. Ugh, I don't ever want to see one out and about unless it's dead. Because, no thank you. I often have this dream where I step outside my back door into the yard and the entire floor is covered with snakes. I don't know what that means. Not gonna look it up. But I have it a lot. Not a lot, but I get it a few times a year, I would say. Okay, I hope that this will cut. Oh, it did. Okay, Michael's pliers. Michael's pliers that I've had for 4 years. This one doesn't work. Or it does, but it gets stuck. And it's not supposed to do that. It gets stuck, and then it's stuck again. But I can just, it still works. It's fine. This whole morning, I was doing my schoolwork. And there's a few assignments that I've missed, so I was catching up on assignments from a while ago. I have this professor. God bless her. But I don't know how she became a professor. I will be so real. Every single post on Canvas has a typo. And not just a wrong letter. I'm talking wrong word. Wrong tense. Wrong. If there's a there, and there, uses the wrong there. Two, and two, uses the wrong two. What was it? Oh, every time that she puts right, as in writing, WRITE, she does it as right, as in left and right, RIGHT. And there's nothing wrong with not being able to spell. And having improper English and whatever, that's not the issue. My confusion is, how are you a professor at a school, at a college? In a daily life scenario, or maybe a different job where you're not teaching people, I feel like it's fine to not have perfect English, but or not perfect, but just that's not perfect English. That's I feel like that's baseline English. But as a professor, I expect you to know the differences between there, and there, two, and two, and writing versus to the right. I expect you to know the differences. And what is it that she wrote today? I forget what she put. Oh, she uploaded, there was a thing, I had to fill out these worksheets. And there was 6 different pages of worksheets to do. And I was going to download them, do it on my iPad, and then submit it. 3 out of the 8 download links were the same page. It would say page 34, and page 34 was page 34, but then page 35, you'd click on page 35 and it was page 34. You'd click on page 36 and it was page 34. You'd click on page 37 and it was page 34. And I'm just dang, I don't, how is she a professor? Because I just expect you to, that one, okay, I'll get, that one's whatever. Honest mistake. Oh, but then also, she's also, I think she's just lazy. Because on that same assignment, they're downloadable links. Each one, first of all, I'm just getting nitpicky now. This is not a big deal. First of all, why couldn't she have put all the pages in the same PDF file? Don't know. Why do I have to download them each individually and then I have to stitch them together for you? On top of not stitching them together in the same PDF file to do, they were all rotated different ways. one of them would be 90 degrees, the other one would be 180 degrees. They were all rotated the other way, and she literally wrote, she's like, I tried to rotate them, but then I gave up. Bro, come on. What do you mean you gave up? It's your job. This is your job. And then the thing that was crazy to me was not only did she say, I tried to rotate them, I did a few of them, but then I gave up. But right under it, she said, please make sure to rotate them properly. She wrote, please make sure to rotate them properly when you submit them. And then right under that sentence, gave a detailed instruction of how to rotate the files. Why couldn't she have just done it? Because now all the students have to go do that, but she's gonna get some submissions of people who have not rotated it. So now she's gonna have to rotate all the ones that were not rotated properly so that she can read them. But had she have put them in one PDF file and rotated them all correctly the first time, there would be no issues, because you would download the file, write in your things, upload the file, good to go. She's just creating more work for herself. But I have never seen a professor be so, I don't even know what the word is, just sloppy. I'm very dumbfounded, I will say. I'll be honest, I'm very dumbfounded at that. I don't know how, again, nothing wrong with having improper English. My English is also not perfect, but I know my there, and there's, my two and twos, my right from rights, stuff like that. And I feel like as a professor at a college, I'm not saying like any retail job, that's okay. You're not writing that much, depends on where you work. You're not, but a job that requires you to write consistently in English, that is about teaching young people how to do things, to be an adult, to be teaching at a college, I think you shouldn't have to know that. That's another topic I could talk about, actually. Why are all of the college professors, okay, not all of them, but why are a lot of them not even teaching the class? I have a few classes where the professor just uploads YouTube videos of other people, not even of them. They've never sent us a single lecture that is them teaching it. And they just repost the same class every semester. I don't know what they're doing, so I would love if a professor could tell me a little bit more about that. I'm genuinely curious. I'm not saying it just to dig on that, but also, why am I paying for that? Like, why you're uploading the same thing that literally says, like, linked from, like, that you made that post 4 years ago. I don't know. What are you teaching? If all you're sending me is TED Talks and videos of other professors, what are you doing? And also, all of my homework is just quizzes that are also auto-graded, so they're not even grading them. And again, this is not all professors, but I've seen a majority of my experience with professors is that type of teaching, and I'm just like, I don't understand it. You're not even teaching the class. Like, the syllabus will literally have dates from 2020 in it, and I'm just like, dude, can we put in a little bit of effort? At least, like, rewrite the syllabus and change the dates accordingly. It's crazy. I don't know, guys. That's my rant on school. I also am at community college, so that might have something to do with it. I don't know if, like, professors at a university are better or how it works, but those are my thoughts on my college experience so far. I'm going to trim this one also because It's quite long. I think I'll do it right there. The next thing I have is to talk about sculpting. I'm going to say this stuff very carefully because I don't want it to be taken the wrong way. And it's not digs or disses or anything at all. Whoa. Did this go everywhere? Oh, just a little bit. I follow a couple sculptors on social media, and I see a lot of people who sculpt on social media in a similar style to me, just not stylistic as in our art styles, but just like with the armature wire, and then they use polymer clay and then paint it. A lot of people do that, and I don't know what I'm trying to say, actually. I'm not trying to say anything, really. I'm just observing. This is more about me, actually. I think I would have a lot more success and a lot more followers if all I did was sculpt already existing and beloved characters. This doesn't have anything to do with those sculptors, actually. I don't know what I'm saying. I just think about it a lot where I'm like, damn, I could probably be making so much more money, have a lot more followers if I was just making sculptures of other existing characters. And I don't do that because I want to make my own characters, and I do make my own characters, and it's obviously a lot harder to get people to get on board with new characters and like you for your own stuff. It would be so much easier if all I did was sculpt Fantastic Mr. Fox and Jack Skellington and Edward Scissorhands, whoever else. Like if I just sculpted already existing characters or sculpted celebrities or whoever's in the public eye and someone goes viral. Taylor Swift goes viral for a certain outfit and then I sculpted her in that outfit. Like I could do that. Oh my gosh, I just poked my teeth. Did you see? Don't rewind that. Don't do it. Don't. Stop. Did you hear that gulp too? Oh my gosh. I'm doing crazy things right now. What was I saying? Oh. I think I would have a lot more, I would have a bigger following, but I don't do that because I want my own characters, I want my own universe, I want to tell stories more than just sculpt things that I care about, but not like I care about these. Like I care about Otto and Asteroid and Lucille as if they were my kids. Like I care about them more than anything. And if I were to just sculpt characters that already exist that I care about, like if I were to sculpt Jack Skellington, love Jack Skellington, it's just not the same, you know? I enjoy making my own things, and that's why I never do fan art. Well, not never, but I very rarely do fan art. I've done fan art of, I think I could count the times I've done fan art on one hand. I drew Ash from Fantastic Mr. Fox because Ash, I think, is my favorite character of all time ever in anything, minus my own characters. I love Ash. All of the characters in Fantastic Mr. Fox. I've drawn him. I have sculpted Zero from Nightmare Before Christmas, but I also have a tattoo of Zero. I've never drawn Jack Skellington. I started a Melanie Martinez sculpture never finished it. And I get a bunch of questions asking me, when are you going to finish that? Never. Probably not ever. I probably won't ever finish it. Also, most of the clay is cracked because I didn't bake it, because I was going to continue working on it, and I was like, oh, I'll finish it in a little bit, and then it ended up sitting there for a year. It's right up here. But I did start that. I also started a sculpture of Jane from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. And then I think that's it. Oh, I did one page in my sketchbook of Alice in Wonderland that I posted, but then all the rest of the fan art that I do is just like from my personal sketchbook, and I don't post it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I think I know that I'm in this for the right reason, because I want my stories to connect to people and my characters to connect to people, because if all I wanted was followers, I would just sculpt other characters that already exist, you know? And I know that I have the skills to do that. I know that I could sculpt other characters, but I want to sculpt and draw and animate my own characters. Also, I don't want to deal with copyright stuff. I really am interested in law and copyright and trademarks and all that stuff. I really enjoy it, and one day I would like to study it, and I'm constantly learning about it because I genuinely find it interesting. I just like to know things. I like to know that I'm doing things the right way or doing it safely. I just like to know things, and that's one of those things that I just like to know. This camera is about to die, and I gotta switch out the battery. So, I'm gonna do that in a second. But I don't want to deal with the copyright stuff. I don't want to be in the predicament where I made a fan art thing. Also, I don't know how these people are selling it. I guess, well, you can sell it because it's your own creation. Whatever. I don't want to talk about that right now. That's not what I'm talking about. But I think I know that I'm in it for the right reasons, because I'm often telling myself, why do I even do this? Why am I posting it online? Why do I want to do this? Do I just want followers? Do I just want to be famous? And that is part of it, sure. But I think I might just be saying this all just to make myself feel better about what I'm doing. Also, if this randomly stops, it's because the camera's about to die and I have to switch the camera. But I want to finish my thought before I do that. So I think I'm part of me is saying it just because it's like kind of reassuring myself, like, no, you're not just doing this because you want to be famous. Because if I did, first of all, if I just wanted to become TikTok famous, I wouldn't be doing art to begin with. I would be doing thirst traps and going to the gym every day and doing something like that and doing TikTok dances. I would be going the hype house route. I would make it happen. I don't want that. I want to tell stories. I've always been a story person. I like telling stories. I don't like telling stories because I don't like talking to people, but I like to write stories. I like writing, period. I write in my journals all the time. I'm writing stories all the time. Creating characters, and I really do live in my own world 90% of the day. I'm in Asteroid's universe, working on different scenarios and stuff like that. And if I wanted to just like, I'm not saying that these people are just like, I'm not saying these people are doing it just to be famous. I think it's just an observation, but from my own perspective, it has nothing to do with these people. But I don't know, I just really want to, I like my own characters, and I like making my universe, I guess. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's just, I think it's just social media, and that relationship to art is, I think I get discouraged. I'm going to change the battery and then I'll talk about this, because this, what I'm about to say, I think might be a couple minutes of talking. So let me switch this really quickly. I'll keep this camera going, actually. so that I can sync it up. I'm hoping that'll be easy to sync up. It might not be. I'll find out. I found a battery for this camera. I didn't know that I had 2 of them, which is great. I was worried about this camera dying. Oh, this camera's about to die in a second too. Or I have to stop recording and start a new clip. So I gotta switch this one first. Let me switch you out. You're still up here. I'm gonna keep talking. How do I do this, actually? I have no clue. Where's the battery? Oh, it's down here. I need to get a second battery for this camera. Oh my gosh, I only have a few seconds before this camera up here dies. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm freaking out right now. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Turn back on, please. Turn back on. Quickly, quickly, quickly. Let's go. Oh my gosh, I only have a few seconds. Okay. We're back. 1, 2, 3. Period. Okay. Now I gotta turn off this camera. Give it a second. Let it load. Sorry for the hecticness. I want to do as little editing as possible, just because that's the point of this video. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What was I gonna say? I think I get discouraged when I see other people with hundreds of thousands of followers and hundreds of thousands of views and likes for their sculpting or their art that they do, because it makes me feel like maybe the stuff that I'm doing isn't good enough, or isn't cool enough, or isn't unique enough. And I think this, again, is probably just like a personal flaw. I'm not talking about these creators at all, and I'm not talking about their talent or their skill level whatsoever. They're all great, and I'm friends with a few of them. We're not friends, but we follow each other. And I love them. They're great people. I've talked to them a few times. They're really cool and they're very nice. Nothing about them. Nothing about them. It is not about them. This is all about me and a confidence issue. Okay? I am not talking about them. And if for some reason they're watching this, I'm not talking about you. I like you guys, both of you. I only follow 2 of them. There's 2 of them that I'm talking about, or that are in my mind. But they're not in my mind because I'm thinking about them. Don't twist it. Do not twist it, you guys. Don't twist this. Because one day when I have more followers, someone's going to come back and twist this and try to make beef between me and these people. There's no beef. It's me. I'm fighting with the wall. Okay? And I can own that. I can recognize that. I'm fighting with the wall. It's all me. With that being said, I often look at their stuff not from a critical point of their skill level, but I'm just like, dang, I must be doing something wrong. Like, my stuff doesn't get that attention. My stuff, and I feel like I'm just as good as them. I don't feel like my skills are inadequate in comparison to them, technical wise. Whatever. I feel like I'm just as good as they are. I just think that it does help when you sculpt or create or draw or paint any character that already exists, that people already like. It's a lot more difficult to create your own characters and get people to like them, because they don't know them. But also, that's how every character starts. People don't know who they are, and then they start to. And I know that eventually that will happen, and I'm okay with waiting, and it will happen when it's meant to. And I know that, but sometimes I'm just like, damn, I should just stop. I will never stop. But like, when I get in that mindset of feeling bad, I'm like, I should just stop and make characters that already exist, because then people will watch them and whatever. But then I'm never going to do that. But if I did, that's not going to do anything for me. I'm not going to feel satisfied, because I'm not trying to do it just for followers and just to get people to comment, because then again, those comments for me wouldn't mean anything, because they're not about me or my creations or my art. It's about that character. You know, it's about Jack Skellington. It's about Mr. Fox. It's not about, oh my gosh, I relate to, like, okay, if someone were to comment, oh my gosh, I relate to him so much, talking about Jack Skellington on a video of me sculpting him, I would be like, cool, same. That's about all of it I would feel. However, when someone comments on Asteroids journal entries or Asteroids comic strips or anything that has to do with Asteroid, and they're like, oh my gosh, I relate to him so much, I'm just like, oh, that's so cool, and it's so fulfilling and so rewarding to hear someone say that. And like, that comment means much more to me in that context than it does about Jack Skellington, you know? Again, I don't know what I'm getting at. I'm just talking. But that's, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know why I wrote that down. I just wanted to say something about that. And I did. But I know it will take time for people to like him. And I know people do. I do know people do. He's just not a character that people know yet. And that is also okay. Ugh, these shoulders are so uneven. I don't know what to do, because if I guess I just have to build that up more. This video is really long, I'm sorry. But this is how long it takes me to do things. Well, it would probably be a lot quicker. I'm kind of dilly-dallying because, one, I'm still actively procrastinating doing this, but also because when I talk, I work slower. But at least I'm working. At least I'm doing it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm okay. I know it's going to take time, and I have accepted that, and I don't want it to rush, because I don't really want to have it be like an overnight thing if it ever does happen. No, it will happen when it does happen. I don't want it to be an overnight thing. I want it to be more of like a build up. And I would prefer not to become famous through TikTok. I would prefer to become famous through YouTube or like Tumblr or Reddit or Instagram, literally anywhere but TikTok, because on TikTok people aren't going to care. They're going to be in and out, and they're not going to... People on TikTok do not appreciate art. Point blank period. They don't. I think it's impossible. I don't think it's impossible. I think it's extremely difficult for people on TikTok to care about art in a way that is deeper than me if you even care. This is so me. Me if I was a blah blah blah. That's the extent that the care goes on TikTok. And I know that I'm aware of it, so I don't put too much weight in TikTok. Oh, speaking of TikTok, I said that I was going to film stuff, so I'm going to film a clip right now of just like an update. I don't even know. I'm probably not even going to use this video. And I'm going to take a photo now as well. But I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. My nose is still running, guys, but I'm not sick. But I don't know why it's been running for this long. I don't know if I have anything else to say about that topic. I think that's kind of it. I don't know. Just a ramble, I guess. Some thoughts about that stuff. I don't know, I really hope that asteroid will take me somewhere and will reach the people that he needs to reach when it's time. And if it takes 50 years, I will do it. I am in it for the rest of my life. I don't think that there's anything else that I'm meant to do than to create these characters and put them out into the world and have somebody or many people attach to them and relate to them. I think that's what I'm meant to do. There's nothing else I'm meant to do here except create this stuff. And that's not like a small thing. I'm saying like that's a big thing. Like that's what I'm here for. I'm not saying it as in like this is all I'm here for. I'm just like, woe is me. All I'm gonna do on this earth is make characters. No, I mean it in a big sense, because I do dream big. Like my life goals are movies, books, animated series, stuff like that. Like I want to do big and crazy things. And I know that I will. In due timing. When it's meant to be, it will be. If it's meant to be, then it will be. Ethel Kane. Sun-bleached flies. Okay. Oh, this arm is not posed right. Oh no. It's so hard to move. Oh, I didn't even think about. I don't know why. Oops. Oh well. I forgot to move the wire into the right poses that I wanted it. But it's okay. I'll just try to bend him a little bit and hope for the best. So I think this is the front. I do need to kind of flatten that section a little more. Like that. Then I'm going to smooth out the inside a little bit. The next thing going from what I just talked about, which was like somewhat deep or like thought-provoking, into the next thing that I'm going to say is kind of silly. The next thing that I've written down is I can't get rid of emails from the people at AliExpress wanting me to review their stuff every day, like 10 emails. If you post videos online and you put your email anywhere online, maybe it's on your website or on your TikTok profile for business opportunities, I don't get any business opportunities other than these people from AliExpress wanting me to review stuff on TikTok Shop. But it's there just in case, you know. I don't know who's going to see it. So a celebrity might see it and be like, oh my gosh, I want one of these sculptures. Or can I commission you to do a sculpture? Ariana Grande, if you're out there, please let me make you something. Please, 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 please see this video and please let me make you something. If you're watching this video right now, please tag Ariana Grande and tell her that I need to make something for her. Please, please, please. I'm begging you. Please. Ariana, if you see this, or if someone who knows Ariana personally, please, I will make her whatever she wants. Anything, forever. As much as she wants. And please tag her. What was I saying? Oh, you never know who's gonna see your stuff. So I put my email. It's also there for like customer support, customer service, because I do sell stuff online. If you want to buy something, you can buy something. 205studios.com. Actually, 205studios.shop.com also works, but it's a different website. I have my web or my email posted online. Like, you can find it. And because of that, I get, every morning I wake up to 10 emails from people wanting me to review stuff on TikTok Shop. Every day. And it's so annoying. And I don't know how to, I don't think there's a way that I can just, unsubscribe from that. I don't think that's possible. The only way that would happen is if I just, took off my email. But my email needs to be there so that people can reach me for their orders. And when Ariana Grande sends me an email saying, hey, I want a sculpture of Toulouse. I want a sculpture of, Nona. I'm waiting. My inbox is open. Ariana, my inbox is open. I'm waiting. I'll wait. I'll make you whatever you want. But every morning I wake up to 10 emails. Hello, dear. Oh my god. I'm stumbling. Stumbled across your TikTok. And I think you would be... Okay, it's either hello, dear, or they copy and paste my username. And I know they copy and paste it because in my TikTok bio... Oh, this is actually how I know whether it's from TikTok or they found me on Instagram. My TikTok is capital N, Nolan, capital V, Vega with an asterisk. Oh my god, there's something else that I have to talk about. Oh my gosh, I was about to say remind me to talk about this, but you're not here. There's something else I have to talk about that has to do with the asterisk, and I'll get to that right after this. I need to write it down because otherwise I'm going to forget. We still got the iPhone 6. The trusty dusty iPhone 6. Okay, has to do with asterisks. My TikTok, capital N, capital V, the rest are lowercase. My Instagram, all capital letters through the whole name with an asterisk. If it's from Instagram, they copy and paste it, and I know that because they're not going to capitalize my name and put the asterisk. They're probably not even going to put the asterisk if they email me regularly. Like if it was a real person typing, it might be a real person, but if it was not copied, they probably wouldn't put the asterisk because I just don't expect a brand to do that. But anyways, love. Anyway, someone comments consistently, you don't have to say anyways with an S. I don't care. Let me say it how I want to say it. I don't care. I've been saying anyways my whole life, and I'm going to continue to say anyways. And you're going to keep commenting, but you know what you're going to keep doing? Giving me engagement. Up in the analytics. So just for you, I'm going to keep saying anyways. They always say, hello dear, stumbled across your TikTok profile, and we think that you would be a great match for our products below. The products in question are the most random, outlandish things that have absolutely nothing to do with what I do or my brand and would serve no purpose to my fan base. The craziest one that I got was yesterday, which prompted me to write this down as a topic. I'm going to work on the hands now, so I'm going to put that down for a second. I also have to grab some smaller wire right here. The craziest one that I got was yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, I forget. I think it was yesterday though. Hello dear, stumbled across your TikTok profile and we think that you would be a great candidate for a bikini. What about my TikTok elicits swimwear, let alone bikini? You want me to put asteroid in a bikini? I know that they don't I know they don't look. I know it. But it's just so funny to me to see. I do actually, okay, no, I do like getting the emails because I like to see what products I'm getting recommended today. I get vacuums all the time. I get like the dog hair, any TikTok shop item that's going viral or that you've seen more than 3 clips of, I have been sent. I haven't received the product, but like they want me to do it. Sometimes I just put no. Like when I get a crazy one, I just put no and I respond. I don't care. I do it. And that's what makes me feel like I'm having fun. That is a fun activity for me. I'm so boring that's a fun activity for me to do. Trust me, if I had the extrovertedness and the outgoingness to be doing prank calls, I would do them because that would be fun to me. You will not get me to get on a phone call. You will not. If I don't have to be on the phone, I will not be on the phone. I'm not talking to anybody on the phone. No. Not doing it. I hate phone calls. I can't do it. But I want to do prank calls really bad. Can't do it. I can't. Oh, the asterisks. Okay. So, here's the lore behind why there are asterisks on every profile name ever that has to do with me or 1205 Studios or Asteroid, anything. I don't know how I'm going to do these hands. His hands are like this, and then I guess I'm just going to shape them, and then we'll see. Oh, actually, I'm going to take a strip of this and do it from here. Is my head in the way? No. Okay. Guys, this video is going to be probably 2 hours long. So, well, you can see the timestamp, but asterisks. The reason I do the asterisks is, where do I start this? It's actually kind of crazy lore. Okay, let me chill out. It's not that crazy. The reasoning I do asterisks in my name is because, one, all of my stuff is very space oriented. Lots of moons, lots of stars, lots of planets, yada yada. So one, it looks like a star. But the reason why I did that also kind of has to do with the reasoning why I changed my name. If you don't know, my legal last name is Bacon. Literally the food. I'm not kidding. Spare the jokes, I've heard them all. I've been on this earth for 22 years, I've heard them all. Yes, my name's Bacon. Yes, I like bacon. No, I'm not related to Kevin Bacon, although wish I was, because if I was, don't ever accuse me of being a nepotism baby, because I'll be so mad. One, because if I was a nepotism baby, I would have got started way sooner. Don't ever start those nepotism rumors, because it is not true. That also kind of has to do with why I changed my name, because I don't want to be associated with him. But my legal last name is Bacon. My last name on here is Vega, because that is my mom's last name. And I changed it to Vega once I started posting art online and like doing only art, because she's an artist. She paints oil pastels, all kinds of stuff. She's done art her whole life. So to me, it made sense to use her last name as my last name online, because she's the artist of the family. My dad's also very crafty, very hands-on. Ooh, I gotta reset this camera again already. But he's not the artist. Like, my mom paints oil pastels, big landscape paintings. They're all over the house. So it made sense for me to do that. Also, I love the last name Bacon. However, I do think that people don't take me seriously when I go by that last name, because it's always a joke. Always. So I think I wanted to be taken a little bit more seriously. That's also why I switched it. I don't think I'll ever legally change my name to Vega. I don't see a purpose in that. But Bacon is my legal last name. And the reasoning why the asterisk has to do with this is because I'm trying not to dox my mom right now, guys. I'm trying not to do that. Her entire name, first, middle, and last name, all have to do with a star. Her name, whatever. Her first name is a constellation. Her middle name translates to star. And then her last name is a real star out in space that is in the constellation that is her first name. Is that not the coolest thing ever? And I've asked her, I was like, is that intentional? And she's like, I don't think so. She doesn't think my grandma did that intentionally, but it just happened to work out. So that's why I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do Vega. And the asterisk is simply just because it's a star, but also because changing my name from Bacon, which is a very catchy name that you do not hear that often, I was like, well, I need something that kind of is a little memorable, apart from having a good name can be very good. Dude, what? Having a good name can be very good. Though, what am I saying? It can, the example that I have of this is I used to work on film sets as a production assistant, and I still would like to. I just haven't gotten booked for anything. Different topic I can talk about. But everybody always remembered me because, one, there were two things that I would do when I was on set to make myself memorable, so that the directors would remember me, everybody in the offices would remember me, and then I would get booked, and it worked for a bit until I stopped doing it. Was one, my last name being Bacon was very helpful. I'm just testing to see what this looks like. I'm not putting it on like that. I still think his arms are a little too long. Oh no. I think I gotta trim off a little bit. Having my last name be Bacon was the first thing. Memorable. Everybody remembers it. At least for the time being in that scenario, they will remember it because they're gonna see me every day for 2 weeks. The second thing that I would do is I started to exclusively wear shirts that had animals on it, or sweaters that had animals on it, those 80s sweaters that have a bunch of animals on it. I still wear those to this day, and it became a thing of what animal's gonna be on Nolan's shirt today. So that was my marketing for IRL marketing, how to be memorable. But when I changed my name to Vega, I was like, ugh, are people not gonna remember my name because it's not Bacon now? That's such a catchy name. So I put the little asterisk every time I sign an email, anytime I send out anything that has my name written in it, so that it can be a little more different, because someone else could send it with the name Vega, and then it's kind of just lost in the mud. So that is why I do the asterisks. Also, because asteroid, very close. And I also have the dream that when I have a ton of fans, that they will all put asterisks next to their name as to show that they're a 1205 Studios fan. The same way for Ariana's Eternal Sunshine album, she has those little wispy emojis that she puts. Oh, I gotta reset this camera again. She has those emojis that she puts. And I don't know, I want something that people are gonna have something to put in their bio or whatever. 3, 4, 5 days ago, scrolling on Twitter, Kevin Feige from Marvel Studios, I have a bone to pick with you. The new Thunderbolts movie's coming out, and if you've seen it, you know that it's Thunderbolts, and then there's an asterisk right behind it. That's my thing. That's my thing. And I'm gonna be so... Also, I don't know if someone else has done this before me, so I'm not being super serious about it. But also, I am being serious about it because I'm the one who's gonna, like, make it a thing. Anyways, I'm gonna be really mad if that movie does, like, really well, and then people start putting that, if that has any type of symbolism of, like, a fan base, if people start putting that in their bios next to their name, because then people are gonna think that, one, they're gonna think that I have it in there because of that, which, no, I would not put anything fan related to 1205 Studios except Ariana Grande and maybe some Fantastic Mr. Fox and, like, a few other artists that I listen to. But I'm not about to put myself as a fan base when I'm trying to promote my own stuff, you know? Second, I wanted to do that, and I want to do it more than you, Marvel. I know you don't care. I know you don't care the way that I do about this. So please drop the asterisk. The movie's probably gonna flop anyways because, let's be real, your last few Marvel movies, not so good. So, just saying. If I were you, I would drop the asterisk. It also just doesn't make sense for you. I don't know what you have planned. Maybe it doesn't make sense, but whatever it is, it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you have planned doesn't make sense. It only makes sense for me. So please drop the asterisk. I'm having trouble figuring out how to do these hands, so I'm just gonna try a few methods. This video is also way longer than I thought. We're already at an hour and a half. Oh well. I really don't want to make a part 2, or I'm gonna have to make a part 3. But I wanted to at least finish the body. I might, like, stop filming, do the details, and then show you the finished torso, because we're already at an hour and a half. I do have more things to talk about, so maybe I should just send it. I'll go till this battery dies, because this battery's at halfway. Oh, that means we're gonna be here for another hour and a half. No, I don't know. We'll see how long it goes. But I don't know. I don't really care. The video can be long, and people are either gonna watch it or not, and it's fine. Guys, look at that. Look at that. Oh my god, he's coming along. Oh, guys. Stop. My eyes are gonna water. He's coming to life. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Okay, no. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna figure out how to do these hands. I want him to have like Wally hands. You know how Wally has like hands that are like this? He's got like the 2 prongs and he's got a big thing right here. I want him to be like that. Don't know how to do that. We're trying it. Okay. Next thing to talk about. Oh. The Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift's new album, comes out on Thursday night for me, because I'm in California. Haha, loser. I don't know where you live, but if you have to wait up later than 9 p.m. for an album to come out, you're a loser. That sucks. I think 9 p.m. is like the perfect time, because you can go for a drive and listen to the new music, and you don't have to stay up late, and then you can like really like digest the music and process it. So I love living in California for that reason. I'm so sorry for anybody who has to wake up at like 4 a.m. to listen to it. I would be so pissed off if that was me. I'd feel bad for you, like genuinely. Anyways, the Tortured Poets Department comes out Thursday. Currently, today is Tuesday, and there's like a Spotify event happening at the Grove in LA. So I have been clocked in to stan Twitter, except for the last 2 hours. But I have been clocked in to stan Twitter, seeing everything go down. I'm very excited to see what's happening, and I am excited for this album. It felt weird to me. I think because everybody was kind of expecting her to talk about Reputation Taylor's version at the Grammys and not release a new album, so it was a little off guard. And then I think I was just like, ugh, I really wanted to rep Taylor's version. So I personally was just a little like skeptical about this album. Also, it just like this whole album feels a little off for some reason that I just can't pinpoint. It just feels, something about it feels interesting, and I don't know what it is. I think it's like the lack of promo, or the promo is just kind of weird. Something's weird, guys, and I don't know what it is. But comes out Thursday. Now I'm excited. Here we are the week of, and now I'm getting the hype for it. Like I'm ready for it to happen. I'm anxious for it to happen, and I only gotta wait 2 days now. So I'm excited. I will give you my thoughts on the album. This album is supposed to be, if it's anything like what we're expecting, it's gonna be not a doozy. It's gonna be it's gonna wreck you. You are gonna be on the floor in tears. So I'm very excited. I also do really like the vibe of it. I really like the whole writer, poet, scholar, English major, Harry Potter vibe that we got going on. I do like it. I'm intrigued. I'm definitely intrigued. So I will give you my thoughts on it on Friday or Saturday once it's out and I film a new video. Hopefully the auto sculpture will be done before then. I'm hoping to get it finished tomorrow or the following day, which would be Thursday, but that would be before it comes out, the album comes out. So I don't know. You'll hear my thoughts on it by the end of the week. I'm going to attach ooh, I should attach it this way actually. Oof, this is so messy right now. Oh damn, I don't like this at all. This arm needs to come down more. I only have 2 more topics to talk about. So I'm probably going to end up finishing this on my own, or like do the details of it and then show you. But I'll talk about the last 2 things and then do this on my own. I saw a TikTok that said, I put it in quotations, it says, you can tell a lot about a person by how they act around quiet people. And that is the truest thing I have ever heard. And I'm going to talk about this as someone who is a quiet person. Not always actually, when I was really little, apparently I was very extroverted and I would talk to everybody. You couldn't pay me to do that now. No small talk here. But all throughout school pretty much, I don't really remember elementary school. I think I was fairly outgoing in elementary school. I think I peaked in elementary school. That was when I was like popular. Yep. I peaked in elementary school, I think. For the rest of my school career, I was very quiet. I was shy at some point. Most points, I was outgoing at certain ages for little bursts of time. I could talk about my school experience in another video because that's a lot of stuff to discuss. I went to a bunch of different schools. But oh my god, come on, just go on there nicely, bro. Bro, come on, please, I'm begging you, please, just do it nicely. Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. Because why would it do it nicely? What was I saying? What? Oh, this thing about the quiet people. I'll talk about it from my perspective as someone who is quiet. Period. Just go off and say the same thing you literally just said a minute ago. I think that is a very important thing to notice is how people do react around people who are more reserved. A lot of my high school experience, especially my freshman year, you can just tell so much about a person, and I think that's why I could kind of like see through people and like their personas, or I never cared to engage with any of the people who were popular or the people on ASB. Oh my god, I can't stand people who are on ASB. Because of the way that they talk to me and other people who are quiet, or just not loud and obnoxious and outgoing and annoying, insufferable. TikTok loves that word. Oh my god, you're so insufferable. That's a word that they like. But you can tell how people are based off of how they act towards someone who's quiet, because they, more times than not, are going to use them as like the butt of their joke, or bring them down in some way, or make fun of them. And it's not always intentional. This camera's about to die, I think, so if it dies, here's what we got right now. I'll show you right now. Here's what we got. When it dies, I'll finish this topic and then finish this and then show you later. But you can, I don't know. I actually don't even know what I'm going to say about this. I feel like you can tell a lot about those people, because especially the people who are just like, you're so quiet, like, why don't you say anything? Why does it matter to you? Genuinely, why does it matter? Or, one thing I hate is when someone who is obnoxious and annoying and loud, it's always the people who are the most annoying that have the loudest voices. Always. For some reason, they don't just get to be annoying, they also get to be obnoxiously loud. That camera has died, so I'll kind of show you up here, I guess, for now. For some reason, they always get to be loud and obnoxious and annoying. Triple threat. I hate when people will say something. Let me act it out. This is annoying person. This is quiet person, aka me. Annoying person will make a joke about me. Something like, I don't have an example. They'll just say something, and then here's me. I'll just be like, yeah, or I won't say anything. And then the person goes, Oh my god, they hate me, guys, talking to everybody but not looking at me. Guys, they hate, oh my gosh, Nolan hates me, like, he's so done with me. Why do you do that? Why? Because I do. But why do you have to say it like that? What is the point? Why do people do that? That's the most annoying thing that a person can do. And if you do that, please reevaluate. Why? It's not funny. I know you're probably trying to make it like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. That person is probably like trying to, I don't know. Never mind. I don't know what I'm saying. You can just tell a lot by a person how they act towards the quiet people, because quiet people, I think, spark something in a person who's loud that makes them uncomfortable. I think they're uncomfortable with the silence, and they're uncomfortable with maybe their own thoughts, and for that reason they have to be loud and kind of bring, especially the quiet person, down. Because I think people who are outgoing and over the top and really energetic see a quiet person who is calm and reserved and shy as weak, and I think that they can like attack that person or something along the lines of that. I don't know exactly, but it's something to do with that. I wouldn't say it's necessarily an insecurity thing, because I don't think that they're maybe insecure. Some people probably, I'm sure, are, but I don't think all the time it's that. I just think that they view quiet people and reserved people as a target and like lesser than. And I know this to be true because I have never been in a scenario where I'm the quiet, reserved person and the loud, energetic, extrovert person doesn't view me that way. They always view me as, because I'm keeping to myself, I must be small. I've never had an experience with somebody who is outgoing and me not have them view it like this. They always, I don't think it's necessarily intentional, but they always view people that way. So this isn't all loud people. Some people, I personally haven't had experience with people who aren't viewing it that way, but what is that? I've never heard a siren like that in my life. Guys, am I about to get bombed? I'm so scared of getting bombed. I'm so scared of it. They're talking about World War III also. Ooh, I don't want to do it. I don't know how to wrap up that thought, but I need to wrap it up because this camera has stopped recording. Here's where we're at. I can't believe I only did this in 2 hours. I usually work so much faster than this. Today is just an off day. I'm still kind of recovering from the offness of yesterday. I will work on the details, show you later. But yeah, here we are. His head is not going to be this close to his body. We're going to give him a neck. But that's what we got so far. And I'll update you. The sirens are going crazy. I need to see what's happening. I will update you later when we get the details going. Yeah. See you in a minute. I'm using the mic on my phone. I hope it doesn't sound too crazy or too much different. It's been many hours later. It's currently midnight. I stopped filming at around like 6 p.m., 6:30ish, somewhere around there, I think. Turns out that those sirens that I was hearing, you can rewind to see what I'm talking about. A house down the street from me literally blew up. I'm not laughing at it happening, but our house literally blew up. So that occupied about 2 hours of my day because we went to go see it because there were a million fire trucks, millions of cops. It was pretty crazy. Everybody was looking at it. So it took me a minute to get back into sculpting. But I have done about 80% of the detail on his body, his torso. But it's midnight and I want to get this video uploaded so tomorrow I can post it, which is when you're watching it. But I just want to give you an update. I'm still going to do some more detail sculpting tomorrow morning, and then in the next video I'll show you the final version of it, and then we will work on his legs, and depending how quickly the legs go, it might be the same video as the painting video, or they might be two separate videos. So there's either going to be one other sculpting video after this one, or two. So we'll see. But yeah, here's what he looks like right now. I'm trying to hold my phone here so you can hear me. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but anyways, here's what we got. Let me bring the light up more. This is my operating table. Here's what we got. The buttons. Again, I need to still do a good amount of work. I need to smooth out all of the skin, or not skin, smooth out all of the clay to make it less noticeable. His buttons, I switched around the order. If you can see, where is it? Right there. On my sketch, it's triangle, circle, square, triangle, star. I switched it to put the star in the center because I feel like that looks better. So now it is triangle, circle, star, triangle, square. Like that. And then I still need to add the details on his arms to give him that, like, material, if that makes sense. But yeah, that's where we're at. The head is still the same. And then once I assemble everything, I'm going to go over it again and make sure all of my detailing is to where I want it to be and as smooth as I can make it. And then once it's baked, I will probably sand it down a little bit in areas and just smooth it out as best as I can. But for now, that's what we're working with. Yeah, so that's the video. I know this was a very long one. Again, thank you for watching these videos. I know a lot of you are really enjoying them, and I'm having so much fun making them. It's my favorite thing to do. And yeah, thank you for supporting me and my art and watching my videos and buying my art and sharing my stuff online and for hanging out. I'm gonna quickly bring all this footage together and upload this so you can watch it. So I'm gonna go now. Yeah, comment below if you want me to do a certain project, some type of art project, sculpture, painting, whatever, and then also topics to discuss. I'll talk about whatever. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna go now. So, yeah. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye.